have 10 starting pitching trade targets. NBC Sports Boston put out an article of 10 frontline starting pitchers that the Red Sox could trade for at the 2025 MLB Trade Deadline. But before we do that, I want you to let me know. Name a player you think the Red Sox should trade for. Let's be realistic. Let's not get too crazy down below in the comments. But we've got 10 we're going to talk about today. And we're going to start with Mr. Joe Ryan of the Minnesota Twins. Right before we push record on this video, Jared Carabas on 98.5 The Sports Hub during the baseball hour had a little quote that said the smoke behind the Red Sox acquiring Joe Ryan is quote-unquote legit. I trust Jared. I trust his sources. And I would be one of many people that say that this is my dream trade candidate. Joe Ryan is the number one player on my list. Now, John Morosi, when he mentioned this report a few weeks ago, said two things were going to have to happen. The Twins were going to have to be out of the playoff race, which I think they will be pretty soon, and a team would have to give them an offer they could not refuse, which I believe the Red Sox could do. Joe Ryan's been fantastic this year. All-star, made the All-Star team. He was an alternate, but still made the All-Star team. 18 games started, 109 third innings pitched. He's got a ERA of 2.72, 121 strikeouts, 23 walks, and .915 whip. Like I've already said, it would take an absolute haul. That's what John Morosi said. I think everyone knows that. If you're going after Joe Ryan, a controllable starting pitcher that has pitched really well this year, you'd have to give up a lot. Now, this is the trade idea I had a few weeks ago when we talked about the John Morosi report. This is the trade I cooked up. The Red Sox received Joe Ryan. The Twins received Jarren Duran, Peyton Tolley, Yostinson Garcia. You get an outfielder right away, which the Twins desperately need outfield help. You get an outfielder in Jarren Duran. You get a very tantalizing pitching prospect, in Peyton Tolley. And then you get your center fielder of the future in Yostinson Garcia when Byron Buxton eventually leaves. It's a pretty tantalizing offer for Joe Ryan, if I do say so myself. So it would take a haul, and this is a haul. Those are two of your top prospects, plus one of the best outfielders in baseball. I would do this trade, but you let me know. Would you do this trade? A for accept, D for decline. I want to hear your thoughts. I would do it in a heartbeat. Joe Ryan is my number one trade target for the Red Sox, but again, it's Chat Sports, not Jack Sports. So A for accept, D for decline. You let me know in the comments. The number two person that NBC Sports Boston mentioned was Dylan Cease, the starting pitcher from the San Diego Padres. An interesting one. He would be a rental. He is set to be a free agent at the end of the year. I'm not as big of a fan of this one, but I'm going to let NBC Sports give their side first, and then I'll give my thoughts. Here's what they had to say. He said, it's been a down year for Cease, but the veteran righty has a proven track record. He could snap out of his funk at any time in the second half and put up ace-like numbers. He finished fourth in National League Cy Young voting last year and was runner-up in the AL Cy Young while with the White Sox in 2022. With his contract set to expire at the end of the season, Cease might be available for a bargain. If so, he should be near the top of Breslow's list of targets. Now, I think myself and Craig Breslow share the same sentiments of we're not big fans of rentals. And Dylan Cease has not, blown the water off of this season. But if you want to win now, Dylan Cease could make sense. Like the quote says, and I tend to agree with that quote, he has been in a funk this year. But he could get out of that funk like that. In 19 starts this year, he's pitched in 103 into third innings, 4.88 ERA, 129 strikeouts, 39 walks, a whip of 1.326. He's been fine. He honestly hasn't even been that great. But the Red Sox have had strong ties to San Diego for a few years now with the Jarren Duran speculation. Now, I don't think Cease would be worth Jarren Duran. I do kind of also agree with NBC Sports' sentiment of it might be a cheaper deal because he's a rental. I don't hate it, but I would have to see the return. They cannot overpay for Dylan Cease. If they did, I would be mad because I think there are other options that are better that you could probably get for cheaper. When the Red Sox make a move, we're going to have a video. You guys absolutely crushed it yesterday. We gained, I think, upwards of 125 subscribers yesterday alone. Thank you all so much for taking the time to, one, watch the video, and two, subscribe to the channel. We are getting close. We are less than 500 subscribers away from 4,000 subscribers. So if you love daily Red Sox coverage, make sure you give us a subscribe because we're going to be live for the MLB Trade Deadline, and anytime the Red Sox make a move, we will have a video. Someone I like more than Dylan Cease is Mitch Keller. This one falls in my not a rental, controllable piece that's also having a career year. I would love trading for Mitch Keller. Here's what NBC Sports Boston had to say. They said, Breslow wants impact starting pitching, but there's little doubt he prefers impact pitching that has years of team control beyond 2025. That makes Keller the perfect trade target. The 29-year-old's having the best season of his career and is under team control through 2028. He's stuck on the last-paid Pirates squad that has a surplus of young pitching, but a glaring lack of offense. Pittsburgh might be motivated to move him for a bat, and Boston has bats to get the deal done. I love this idea for the Sox. I'm going to sound like a broken record in this video, so please excuse me. Controllable pitching. Controllable pitching. That's what the Red Sox should be going after. That's why I love the Joe Ryan trade. That's why I love trading for Mitch Keller. Because not only is he controllable, he's had the best season of his career. 20 starts. I believe that's tied for league leading. Got a 3.48 ERA. That's not bad considering he plays for Pittsburgh. Like, I would trade for Mitch Keller in a heartbeat. He's a young, controllable pitcher that would instantly be a number 2 in your rotation behind Garrett Crochet. And if you get him in the pitching lab with Breslow and Bailey, the sky's the limit. I would love, a million times love trading for Mitch Keller. He's one of the people that's at the top of my list. But who's actually at the top of my list is Mr. Freddy Peralta. You guys know I've been talking about Freddy Peralta for ages now. Joe Ryan, I feel, is a little bit of an unrealistic trade idea. I think it's maybe more realistic now with the Carabas report that there's smoke. But I think Freddy Peralta is my favorite realistic trade target. There's one big caveat to that, though. Realistic if Milwaukee sells, which I don't know if they will. But he's been good this year. Freddy Peralta's been great this year. 20 starts, again, tied for league lead. 2.66 ERA, 118 Ks, 37 walks. He's been awesome. But it's that one caveat. Does Milwaukee sell? Right now, they're in a playoff spot. Right now, as of recording this, I got to fact check this real quick. As of recording this, they are, I want to make sure I get this right. If the wild card standings would pop up for me. They're 4 games up in the National League wild card. So, while it's realistic, that's only if Milwaukee sells. And being 4 games up in the wild card right now, I don't know if that's going to be the case. But you let me know. Do the Brewers sell at the deadline? Why for yes and for no? I'm going to say no for now. But if they do, I think Freddy Peralta should be the first player that the Red Sox go after at the trade deadline. Another interesting piece, Edward Cabrera. Talked about him a little bit on the channel as well. NBC Sports also had him on the list, and here's what they had to say. The 27-year-old has a 3.61 ERA and a 1.26 whip over 16 outings this season. Those numbers may not qualify him for an impact starting label, but he's also under team control through 2028. Perhaps a change of scenery would turn Cabrera into a frontline starter he was expected to be when he entered the league in 2021. So yeah, the stats don't pop off the page. 16 starts, 3.61 ERA, 86 Ks, 30 walks. They don't pop off the page, but we've talked again and again and again about what Craig Breslow is looking for. He's looking for team control. And I completely, utterly agree with what NBC Sports Boston says here. A change of scenery might be all he needs. He plays for a Miami Marlins team that is horrible. If you go up to Boston with Andrew Bailey, Craig Breslow, in a winning atmosphere, he could turn into an absolute stud. Of note, though, because I'm not forgetting injuries this time, he did have an MRI on his elbow a few weeks ago. But from every report that I've read, he made his next start. So something to maybe monitor, but I'm not that worried since he's made his start since. But I was not going to miss injuries this time. So that is something to note if you're going to trade for Edward Cabrera. Let's talk about an old friend, shall we? I saw a few comments about this on yesterday's video. Nathan Eovaldi of the Texas Rangers. Eovaldi is a Boston Red Sox legend. His gutsy performance in the 2018 World Series kept the Red Sox bullpen fresh, and we all know how that World Series turned out. Low-key, high-key, Nathan Eovaldi is one of the best pitchers in baseball this year. 91 innings in 16 starts. He's got a 1.58 ERA, 94 Ks, 14 walks. Now, he was on the IL for a short period of time, but he's been back since, and he's been pitching. Did not make the All-Star team, but he did get his bonus, which was a really cool gesture by the Rangers. And because of that, I think Texas values him a little too much. I know people are asking about Eovaldi because the Rangers aren't that good this year. They are slowly but surely falling out of that wild card race. So a lot of people are mentioning, well, Eovaldi looks really good. He's got the connection to Boston. Should they trade him? I think Texas values him a lot. And the fact that they gave him his All-Star game bonus without him making the All-Star team shows that they value him a lot. So I don't think he's going to be available at the deadline. I would love it. It would be great, but I don't see it happening. But you let me know. If you want the Red Sox to trade for Nathan Eovaldi, bring back Eovaldi to Boston. Just like the video. If I see you like the video, then I know that you want Eovaldi back with the Red Sox. 2 names to talk about next. 2 from Kansas City. Kris Bubic and Seth Lugo. Interesting. Interesting to say the least. Personally, I don't think Kansas City's going to sell. Personally. Now, a lot can change in a few weeks. But I don't think they're going to sell. However, I would be interested in Kris. I would. Very tantalizing. Team control. Arguably on the best season of his career. And I know that Seth Lugo is probably the more tantalizing name in this. But in this scenario, I'm looking for team control and trades. Seth Lugo is older, and his contract's coming to an end. I'm not looking for rentals or short deals. I want deals that are going to go for the next few years. And that's why I would favor Kris over Seth Lugo. But again, I don't think Kansas City's going to sell. Interesting names, though. Interesting names to keep track of. The last 2 names, Merrill Kelly of the Arizona Diamondbacks and Zac Gallen of the Arizona Diamondbacks. I think that Merrill Kelly would be too expensive. He's had a good year, no doubt. I think he's definitely going to be more expensive than Zac Gallen. I don't think I'd pay the price for Merrill Kelly personally. Pitched well this year, but there are other names I would rather go after than a Merrill Kelly and have to spend large. Zac Gallen's interesting though. A note that NBC Sports Boston made was Gallen would be very cheap, and I completely agree. Last year of his deal, he's going to be a free agent, so this would be a rental. And he's not been good this year. 20 starts, again, tied for the league lead. 5.40 ERA, 110 Ks, 45 walks, a whip of 1.374. Not great. But my thoughts are this. I think Zac Gallen needs a change of scenery. The D-backs have not been up to standard this year. They made the World Series in 2023. Since then, they have disappointed. And I think you get him with Breslow, Andrew Bailey. You bring him to Boston for cheap. You buy on the low because he sucks this year and he's a rental. You give up 1 or 2 low-life prospects and you turn him back into an ace. You're ready for the postseason, ladies and gentlemen. Zac Gallen's the one name, the one rental that I would legitimately go after because he's going to be pennies on the dollar. And if you get him in that pitching lab, you work with him. Is this another Lucas Giolito? Maybe. I'd consider that one if the price is right. B. Craig Breslow, let me know. Would you trade for Zac Gallen? T for trade, P for pass. I want to hear your thoughts. Those were the 10 names that NBC Sports Boston projected and proposed that the Red Sox could go out and trade for. I love the Mitch Keller idea. Edward Cabrera is interesting. I really like Zac Gallen as a rental. Joe Ryan's the dream. Freddy Peralta is another dream. Those are the names. Eovaldi, I don't think is going to be available. I'm not really interested in any of the Kansas City players. Merrill Kelly's going to be too expensive. There's a lot of names there that you should be looking out for. And if the Red Sox make a trade, you already know we're going to make a video. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. I appreciate you watching all of the draft coverage that we had over the past week. It really does mean the absolute world. Make sure you subscribe. We're going to be live for the trade deadline. We're going to have videos every time the Red Sox make a trade, so don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button, and until next time, go Sox.